Today's video has been sponsored by NordVPN.
Hi, can I have a large Big Mac meal, please?
What kind of drink?
A Coke is fine.
Okay.
And do you guys have snack wraps back yet?
Snack wrap? No, we don't have anymore.
Okay, that's it then.
Alright, press in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
McDonald's. Please bring them back. It was the best food item that any fast food restaurant had. Hello. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. The bag has been secured.
Okay, so welcome back to the channel, everybody. You may be asking, how fancy can somebody possibly make a Big Mac meal? Well, this might just be one of the fanciest food items I will have ever made on the channel in history. The number of components in this and kitchen equipment that I'm going to use. For God's sake, it's an 18-minute long video. This thing is very involved. Rie ends up transforming this into the most delicious looking savory French Pethivier. We've got our McDonald's, we've got the other 100 things we're gonna need, so let's get right into it. As you can imagine, this one was a little bit pricey and took me probably over a day to attain everything I'll need and gather all my equipment. But thankfully, I've got my buddies over at NordVPN that helped me make this one possible. Right now, there is a very good chance that you're watching this video on a computer or another device that is completely unprotected. NordVPN helps you protect your internet connection and privacy online. It creates an encrypted tunnel for your data, protects your online identity by hiding your IP address, and even allows you to use public Wi-Fi hotspots safely. NordVPN has over 5,200 servers in 60 different countries. You can find a server near you for better speed or a faraway location to access content that might not normally be available to you. They offer amazing speed. NordVPN is the fastest VPN out there, and they're available on every major platform. Windows, Android, iOS, whatever you've got, Nord's got your back. So do yourself a favor, click the link in the top line of the description and go to nordvpn.com/Seymour. You can get a 2-year plan plus 4 additional months with a huge discount. And thanks so much to NordVPN for making this one possible. If for some reason you are unstable enough, or you've got no job and you're incredibly bored, and you'd like to make Rie's fancy Big Mac Pethivier, you will need some all-purpose flour and celery, beef stock, puff pastry, butter, olive oil, lots of short ribs and some red wine, some vodka, salt and pepper, heavy cream, baby bella mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, vegetable oil, and green cabbage. Oyster mushrooms, fresh parsley, onion, lemon, bay leaves, brown sugar. I'm pretty close to needing oxygen, creme fraiche, an egg, sesame seeds, your Big Mac, Gruyere cheese, fresh thyme, leeks, carrots, fresh garlic, tomato paste, and your McDonald's French fries. Out of all the videos I've done, I'm not sure which recipe has used the most ingredients, but I gotta imagine that this one is pretty close. There's just an unreal amount of components that have to go into this. The top of this is gonna get wrapped in puff pastry. The very bottom is going to be a sort of French fry homemade pie crust. The filling is gonna get wrapped in some blanched green cabbage. And then the layers that make up the actual filling are one with a whole bunch of leeks, different mushrooms, and some herbs. A cheese layer that's made with some creme fraiche or Gruyere, and then the cheese we're gonna pull out of the Big Mac. And then the most labor-intensive one that you see me starting with right here, the pressure cooker braised short ribs. As you could see, this is the first time I'm ever using this or any pressure cooker. Shout out to this brand that actually sent me this for free. But I was pretty terrified, being that these are essentially a household kitchen bomb with the amount of pressure that they're under. I think they run at roughly 15 PSI, so about half the pressure of your average car tire. And I know there's like 10 different fail-safes in this, so theoretically it should never actually blow up or cause you any harm, but still, I was a little nervous. Regardless of the nerves though, these came out amazing. Normally, short ribs like this would take hours to braise in the oven. This took 45 minutes in the pressure cooker, and then however much time it took me to chop and saute all those vegetables. And that is just one of our 200 different components complete today. Next up, I figured I'd get started on the fries. We are going to steep these in some heavy cream, press them down through a ricer, let them cool off in the fridge, and then eventually this will be the base of our homemade pie crust. This actually might be one of the least alien components I'm gonna be making today. Just because it's pretty simply a savory pie crust. You know, you're gonna be utilizing the potato starch, the soft, fluffy insides of these fries. I'm not sure what the whole purpose of the cream is outside of softening them up, maybe sucking out some of the residual oil that's on the outside of these. But I ended up using equal parts of the French fries and flour, and then just added in some butter, ice water, and a little splash of vodka until a pie dough came together. Nice and simple, nothing too crazy yet. I rolled that into a disc and then set it in the fridge until later when I was ready to use it. Now, based on the research that I did, it seems that this is normally a dessert that's filled with apples or different fruits and creams. I did find a handful of recipes that took the savory route, but I can't imagine anyone's ever done a variation like this in France and tried to shove a Big Mac into it. Any of my French or Western European friends out there, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I got my cabbage blanched up to bring out that bright, almost artificial green looking color and to soften it up. Half these leaves are going in with the leek and mushroom mix, and the other half are getting saved to wrap the interior with. And then we're to the point where we can kind of dissect this cultural American icon. I've never really gone through a Big Mac phase like I know some people have, one of my closest friends included. Whenever I go to McDonald's, at least in the past, I would have gotten snack wraps, those being little handheld chicken and cheese tortilla wraps. If I'm craving a burger, I'd rather just make myself a smash burger or go to Shake Shack. And very few and far between, the closest I'll really ever come to a Big Mac is probably Wendy's Baconator, maybe once a year. I've definitely tried to limit my intake of fast food in recent years, partially due to the junk I have to eat in some of these videos, but also the amount of sodium and fat, and of course that video of somebody having a Happy Meal from like 25 years ago, and for some reason it doesn't rot or break down in any way. Some food scientists out there, explain that one please. I'll never understand how foods that people eat regularly are so stuffed with preservatives that something like that is possible. Anyway, I have steered off course a little bit. I got my cheese mixture working, that being with the shredded Gruyere, the creme fraiche, the chopped up hamburger patties, some lemon, and some parsley. And then I wanted to attack the largest component in this by weight, our leek and multiple different mushroom mixture. I don't know if Rie and her team chose out all these ingredients or these are all standard in some version of this dish, but I find the choices of the leeks and the cabbage and everything else just so smart. Like, these are things that are just gonna hold up in the oven. They'll pretty much ensure that the interior of this won't be one homogeneous, mushy consistency. And I'm just really intrigued overall to see how all these crazy components and textures are gonna play together. Finally, we are at the point where we can add some of these puzzle pieces together. I lined a medium-sized bowl with some plastic wrap and the rest of our blanched cabbage leaves, and then one by one layered all this stuff in there. I know the show is called Make It Fancy, like I know that's the whole purpose of this, but this is a lot of stuff, guys. This is extra. It's almost as extra as some of the shit people wore to the Met Gala. That place was a clown show. How do you say Met Gala? Met Gala? Met Gala? Why did it sound weird?
Because a lot of people say gala.
Met Gala? Gala? Met Gala. Gala.
You could just say Met Ball.
No one says that. What is the purpose of that place, by the way? If somebody has any idea, please enlighten me in the comments. I got everything layered into my cabbage, wrapped it up nice and tight, and stuck it in the fridge for at least an hour to set up. In the meantime, I whipped out the pie dough and got that rolled out and squared away. And by squared away, I mean I found a bowl that was slightly larger than my other one and cut a circle into it. And I got my puff pastry ready as well. I had to roll this pretty darn thin because it's gonna have to cover quite a large surface area. Now, while I'm getting this all wrapped up and tidy, I do want to address one last elephant in the room. I know a lot of you guys accuse me of being biased towards Alex and especially Rie, and I'm here to let you know that you are probably correct. How can you not love Rie? If you don't watch her videos with a big dumb grin on your face, there is something wrong. Very much like Claire, she is super talented, she makes amazing looking foods, and she's like one of the sweetest people ever, so I don't understand how you could not have a bias and root for her to win at life. Anyways, I got my cabbage filling placed into my 2 different kinds of doughs. Crimped up nicely, coated in some egg wash and some sesame seeds, and popped in the oven. And the very last component we've got to make is the gravy. You didn't think we would forget about the buns, would you? I saved them to toast them in the oven. These are going to become the breadcrumbs that will become the thickening agent for the gravy. I feel like this whole episode was just one giant elaborate version of Chopped from Food Network. But instead of a basket of ingredients, it was a Big Mac, and instead of 30 minutes, it took me about 12 hours. But finally, we have arrived to the finish line. This thing looked amazing. It got such a nice brown around the outside. The gravy was nice and thick and smelling so good. And finally, after a very long day, we can give this one a shot. I was just realizing now how awful this sign is. I should have rewrote that. That is ugly. One thing that's not ugly is this beauty though. The puff pastry browned up so nicely, even just like tapping it. You can hear the crispiness. Every single layer in here is just so well defined, from the cabbage to the pulled beef. Oh. I've never had anything quite like this before. From the braised short ribs to the cabbage to all those leeks and mushrooms and that super tangy cheese filling with the creme fraiche and the Gruyere. It's up there with one of the most unique foods I've ever eaten, and it is pretty amazing. Can't forget a little bit of the gravy, of course. Oh my god. Okay. That just took it to a whole nother level. It is incredible, the depth and like rich, deep flavors. I think I could drink this with a straw. Or without. Damn, that is good. Wow. Just simply the creativity of this too. To think of repurposing a Big Mac in this fashion with all these different components, but have it still kind of resemble and like acknowledge the spirit of a hamburger. It's gotta be one of the most creative dishes I've ever made, ever. I think my favorite part is the short ribs and the gravy though. That combination is just otherworldly. Unbelievably delicious, creative, innovative, amazing. Rie's done it again. Is anybody surprised? I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave me a big old like. Shout out to Rie. I love you. Let's collab one day. Thank you to NordVPN for helping me make this one possible. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you do not already. And other than that, have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you right back here next time. Peace!
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my A-team. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.